Hello, it's Doris with Aldi Books, and I'm here with a new original tag, the summer school tag. And yeah, I have a few more teacher shout outs that have trickled in, so I will share those at the end, so stay tuned for those. And everyone that I mentioned will be linked at the bottom if you want to find some more booktubers, especially booktubers that are teachers. Anyway, diving right in. Question number one is, these follow my summer school readathon prompts. So number one is language arts. There's been a bit of confusion with my classifications for education. Language arts is an umbrella term here in the States used in the elementary school level, and English, grammar, writing, reading, all of that is under that umbrella. And I chose language arts to try to be inclusive because, if you are coming to us live from, Japan or Germany, your, language might not be English, obviously. So anyway, I'll clarify my Americanized nomenclature as I go through. But the first prompt is language arts, and for that one, share a book that you were assigned in school. So that's a broad topic. This one wasn't exactly assigned to me, but in school, I rode the bus. I think we were on the bus for like 30 or 40 minutes going and coming when I was in elementary school. And I read the Basil Reader. Those are the books, the English books, language arts books with, all the stories in it that you read in elementary school. And I had finished mine, and a friend I sat next to, I was in the 3rd grade, and she was in the 5th, I think. So I started borrowing hers on the bus and reading her 5th grade Basil Reader. And so when I was in 3rd grade, that was like the height of my black stallion fetish. I was in love with the black stallion, true story. And I read my first, I think, the summer before 2nd grade. My sister had the first one in the series, and then I just couldn't get enough. I was obsessed. So I was reading this 5th grade book, and The Red Pony by John Steinbeck was in there. And I was like super excited because, it was a horse story. And then, spoiler alert, cover your ears if you don't want to know, but the horse dies. Oh my goodness. I was so traumatized, worse than Old Yeller. I mean, anyway. But then I ended up loving Steinbeck later on. I wrote a book report on Steinbeck in the 6th grade. I don't even know how that happened, but Cannery Row, I read most of the novellas, I think, at that age. So of Mice and Men, and Cannery Row is my favorite until I became an adult and read some of the big ones like The Grapes of Wrath. But anyway, yeah. Number 2 is math. And when I'm in the high school setting, in a math class, I hear all the time, when will we ever use this again? I mean, if I had $1 for every time I'd heard that, you know. But anyway, share a book that has something about it that shows that math is used in real life. So, when will we ever use that again? Well, if you become an architect or an architect's apprentice, you will definitely need those math skills. You'll need the math skills for most anything in life, I'm here to say. But anyway, number 3 is science. So what was the last science-related book that you've read? So your sciences are your natural sciences, biology, geology, Your more math-related ones, physics, or your chemistry, your technological science if you want to. I don't care. For me, the last one, I didn't read any science-related books in June, but I read a lot of them in May. So I went with The Swamp, The Everglades, Florida, and the Politics of Paradise by Michael Grunwald. Yeah, this is a lot of science, biology, environmental sciences, global warming and pollution, and all of that jazz. So yes, really, really great book. A really important book. Number 4 is social studies. So this was another topic that I was trying to be, more inclusive with. So social studies, estudios sociales, in elementary school, we do call it social studies, and it's basically looking at social communities, either locally or globally. Then when you get in high school, it becomes kind of an umbrella term for your history, your geography, your government, economics, those type of classes. So for this prompt, choose a book that you're interested in reading soon that's either a translated work or something to do with politics or government. So for that, I have chosen a new acquisition that I'm hoping to get to for the Summer School Readathon, and that is Yes, We Still Can, Politics in the Age of Obama, Twitter, and Trump by Dan Pfeiffer. So looking forward to that one. Okay, and then we get to our exploratories. So another confusing word, and I will admit, I myself am very confused with this one as well. I'm confused because I told you previously I'm an ESL teacher, and it's a county-wide position. So from year to year, like there are years that I'm in the same school for several years in a row, and then I might, switch up and have to go to another school. So I teach K-12, kindergarten through 12th grade, elementary, middle, high school, wherever I'm needed in that particular year. So now our ESL population, so that's English as a second language, students who come to the States needing assistance with their English skills. So now our county has like 20 plus ESL teachers. But when I first started 20 years ago, there were 3 of us. 3. And we have more than 3 schools in the county. So I was in itinerant position. I traveled from school to school. And my first 3 or 4 years, I kid you not, I got to my first elementary, school started at 7:15. I taught there. Then I went to the local high school that started at 8:15 and taught first period there. And then sometimes I had to go back to that first elementary to see another kid. But then I would go to a third school, another elementary school, and pick up kids there. And then I would drive to the other high school in the county and teach third block there, almost the end of the day class. And when I got there, I had to, the middle school was next door, so I had to meet the middle school kids at the bridge between the high school and the middle school and walk them to the high school, and I taught the middle school kids and the high school kids together. So I went to 5 schools in one day, every day for 3 or 4 years. When I first started, it's a great job. I love it. Anyway, why am I telling you that? Oh, exploratories. So the reason I'm confused is that all of the schools call those extra classes, the non-core classes, something else. They all have their own magic word for that. So the core classes are English, math, science, and social studies. Those are the 4 core classes. But then all those extra classes, like at the elementary school, their extra classes are library, computers, gym, music, and art generally. So some elementaries call them extras, some call them related arts, some call them specials. The high schools call them exploratories, but they also call them, extracurriculars. When you get to the university, they call them electives. Sometimes the high schools do too. I'm so confused. Are you confused? Anyway, those extra non-core classes, the question is, what classes, what extracurricular, exploratory, related arts, specials, electives, exploratories, which of those did you take the most of in high school? For me, it was music. I went to a 7th through 12th grade junior senior high school, and I took choir for all 7 years, and I was in the band for my junior and senior years. So yeah, I took a lot of music classes when I was in high school. What about you? What classes did you take the most of in the extra category? Okay, number 6 is the Common Core discussion. We won't even go there because nobody understands that here in the States or beyond, obviously. But for our purposes, we're going to pair a fiction and a nonfiction book. So share a fiction and a nonfiction book that you think pair together beautifully. So I have gone with National Velvet by Enid Bagnall. This is a modern classic, or a classic at this point. And I was, delighted to find this copy at Goodwill, which is our local charity shop. It's very vintagey and delightful. And I'm going to pair that with a book I've read recently, which is The $80 Champion by Elizabeth Letts, Snowman, the Horse That Inspired a Nation. So these are both show jumping. And yeah, this one was it just before or after World War II? I don't remember, but I loved it, and I loved this as a kid. So those are fun to read together. More of the horse theme there. Number 7 was research. So what was the last topic that inspired you to do a little reading on it? So for me, every January I pick a topic and do a deep dive, and this past January was South Africa. So I love me some Trevor Noah. This was, I think, the first South African book that I had ever read, or that I was aware of reading. So this inspired me to eventually do a deep dive into South Africa, and I read 15 pieces of fiction and nonfiction from South Africa in January and February, but I've not wrapped those up completely yet because I still have 8 left to go. I've just kept finding books that I wanted to read on South Africa. It was really inspiring. So I have 8 more of those. One of them that I want to get to soon is Country of My Skull, Guilt, Sorrow, and the Limits of Forgiveness in the New South Africa by Antje Krog. This is the trials after apartheid ended and how, they got past that. And I think it's going to be just, it's going to hit hard. So, and turn the page. We have more questions. Number 8, if you're a teacher, what do you teach? If you are not a teacher, what would you teach if you were a teacher? What would your topic be? So I am a teacher. I teach ESL. I went to school originally to be a biology teacher, and I taught that for a few years before transitioning to ESL. I have, it's not lately, about 5 or 6 years ago, I was really interested in becoming a history teacher because I just am fascinated by that now. And, sometimes my mind, I just like to learn about new things and learn to do new things. So I just thought that would be a really cool subject to teach. Here lately, I've been wanting to be a librarian, but, I like being an ESL teacher too. And number 9, share a school picture. So this one is, I think it's first grade, but yeah. Oh, I loved the rainbow even back then. I did. And number 10, tag some people. Before I do that, I want to shout out a few more teachers. And I'm tagging all of you. Please, everyone, do this tag. I think it'd be super fun to learn a little bit more about you and your school days. But we have a few more teacher moments to share. So, Ciriella was an elementary school teacher in Puerto Rico, and 1st and 2nd grade. And bilingual for most of that time, which is super cool. New to me, Coco Chanel is a social worker in her school district, so very important job there. Brown Girl Reading, Dee Dee, is an EFL teacher. I knew that, but she teaches business professionals at least part of the time. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. Braille Rose Booktube, she is studying to be either a theater teacher or a theater therapist, and also does some ESL. And Draw Your Book says that during her PhD program, she taught photovoltaic systems. Oh my, I think I might need to learn about that. And our very own Jacqueline McMenamin ran poetry workshops back in the day, so that is cool as well. And then I want to tag a few people specifically that I know are educators, but this is for all of us because we're all students. We are. Amy Poole is a preschool teacher. Celia, an elementary teacher. Lindsay Reeds, I think she's middle school or upper elementary, I'm not sure. Lindsay's Book Life is a high school teacher. Split Reads, a librarian. Karen Evans is special ed. Kathy Grimm, a university professor. Kind of post-university in the career field, Your True Shelf teaches medical courses. Our very own Sean, the Book Maniac, is also an EFL teacher. And Erin Go Reads is a personal trainer. So I will link as many people below as I can that have channels. And I hope that a lot of you will do this tag so I can watch and learn from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I will be back soon. Bye.